against women and children is universal, and the longest war in the history of humankind has always been the war against women, specifically the war on women's bodies. Last month, The Spectator had several reports detailing the Rotherham child abuse scandal, and this shows yet again that the levels of violence against women and children demands nothing less than an urgent action and response. The reports detail how at least 1,400 children between the ages of 11 and 16 were sexually exploited between 1997 and 2013, and also how about 15 girls were raped by gangs of men during the same time. Some victims were doused in petrol and threatened with being set alight. Others were threatened with guns and made to witness violent rapes. Attention first fell on Rotherham in 2010 when 5 men received lengthy jail sentences after being convicted of grooming teens for sex. A formal inquiry was conducted, and the report found that many of the children were known to child protection agencies in the area. Even though there were earlier reports describing the rapes by multiple perpetrators, mainly from Britain's Pakistani community, the inquiry found the initial reports were suppressed because senior officers didn't believe the data and were reluctant to reveal the perpetrators' ethnic origins for fear of being accused of being racist. The 15 female victims are now seeking compensation because they say local police and officials didn't act to stop the abuse sooner. In many regions of the world, long-standing customs put considerable pressure on women to accept abuse. Violence against women throughout their life cycle is a manifestation of the historically unequal power relationship between women and men, and has nothing to do with race or culture, but is all about power and control. In fact, as Susan Brown Miller wrote in a book Against Our Will in 1975, rape is a conscious process of intimidation by which all men keep all women in a state of fear. A survey by the European Union Agency for Fundamental Rights, released in March this year, show that of the 42,000 women surveyed, just over 1 in 10 indicated that they have experienced some form of sexual violence by an adult before the age of 15 years. The survey shows that women who face physical or sexual violence in childhood are more likely to have been victimized later in adulthood. Similarly, research also shows that boys who were exposed to domestic violence in their childhood homes are more likely to engage in domestic violence as adults. Violence against women and children is perpetuated by traditional and customary practices that accord especially girl children lower status in the family, workplace, community, and society, and it is exacerbated by social pressures. Therefore, striving for gender equality is a collective responsibility, and it starts with how we raise our children, especially our sons. We need to teach our sons that girls deserve the same respect and regard like they do, and that women's rights are human rights.